A man getting bit by an alligator and he screams.
Okay, quiet. Hey, quiet.
Stood out towards me.
Oh! No, not an owl. A real scream of pain.
We ready?
Fuck yeah, we are.
All right. Welcome
Maybe I
back.
shouldn't be so
Wait, what?
enthusiastic. Maybe I shouldn't be so enthusiastic.
Yeah. Let's talk movies. I mean, like, look, there's nothing else good going on in the world. I mean, I've been watching the World Cup nonstop. Like, that's the only thing that, and even that is kind of terrible when you think about all the geopolitics around it. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Welcome back, Screamers, to another episode where we debunk everything you thought you knew about history. 3 incredibly interesting films today, albeit all for different reasons. We're talking.
But they weirdly all tie together, and it's.
I know.
It's crazy that is that is a weird synchronicity that was not planned.
I know. I was thinking that same thing as I'm watching these films. I'm like, this is weird that like they're all sort of like this weird Venn diagram that kind of go together. But like, so yes, we are talking the Army Hammy.
That's his new name.
Army Hammer vehicle, Citizen Vigilante, Boots Riley's I Love Boosters, and our next up in the Altman Chronicles, Buffalo Bill and the Indians, or Sitting Bull's History Lesson. So, what's new, man?
Vehicle is a very kind way to put that.
Yeah.
All good, all things, right? I mean,
all things.
AI is taking over the world, and there's all kinds of, So I mean, like art's dead.
Yeah.
All coming.
So you're referencing, I mean, ever so slyly, the news that A24 has entered into a kind of partnership with Google's. Is it DeepMind or DeepThink, whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
AI research for like what I think I said $75 million, and this is all basically giving Google and this AI machinery kind of insight and material, right, to use going forward. Like, what the fuck is A24 doing?
Yeah, I don't really understand from a studio that during the writers or the actors strike, right, was given permission to move forward because it is one of these studios that treated its workers fairly. I really don't know. I mean, but I think this is a train that it's unavoidable, right? I mean, it really truly is. I don't think that because I think at a certain point, not today, not tomorrow, but at a certain point, we won't be able to discern what is and what isn't AI. And I don't know, it's a weird, it's all of it at this point seems like a betrayal because again, it is, it's all plagiarism.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this more and more about with that film out of Tribeca and like how this, how it's taking away jobs, from certain people. And I don't necessarily look the Tribeca film, and I haven't seen it, and I'm not going to, but we will make assumptions that it's. And from all accounts, it's a piece of shit. But so I was just like, how would a craftsman use it, because this is
Right.
not, it's not just A24, right? It's
Right.
Scorsese, it's
Right.
Soderbergh,
It's
all of
Affleck,
these
it's
fuck-
Netflix.
yeah, all of them are fucking jumping on board, right? I mean, so like we have people, and again, yeah, I mean, fuck Scorsese, at least Soderbergh has the somewhat of a pretense of being an indie still, right? I mean, and like can churn out smaller films.
Here's what I
Like-
would say, like just real quick on like someone like Soderbergh. He has always jumped on new technologies, right? He has always been like, "Ooh, let's see what I can do with this. Let me shoot a movie with an iPhone. Let me shoot a movie with, a Sony mirrorless SLR camera. Let me, try this or try that." So, okay, but that being said, yeah,
Right. Yeah. I mean, so like, again, to kind of put myself in the shoes of like, how would an artist use this, right? I mean, how would you generate to make something look like, or what would you type in, right, to make something look like an actual film? From a lighting perspective, how would you tell AI to light a scene, right? And then to relight it the right way, or relight it the way that you want it, or relight it in a sense like, and I was reading, I was thinking about something along the lines of like, a film like Nope, right? Which was filmed with like 3 different cameras to get the day for night aspect correct. Does it help someone do that, where it doesn't necessarily steal from persons, but it allows you to, and we've had this conversation before,
Yeah.
right? About it,
Yeah.
about it correcting accents or making changes here and there. I mean, like, this is an inevitability. Not that I'm like, I know that we just decried this in the last episode of like, these guys are fucking bullshit, or 2
Yeah.
episodes ago, whatever it was, about this is all bullshit. And I still think that it is, but I mean, I don't see is like, it's all corporate nonsense speak. And I don't think at this point it's being used for anything good at all.
right.
But I do think that like there's a possibility to turn it into something that allows for a lower barrier to entry, just like just like CGI did, and we've all accepted that at this point, right? And we all love practical effects when they can be done, but that's dying out, to
Yeah.
a certain extent, obviously.
So I think this kind of analogy of CGI is really interesting in what you just brought up there, because we have entire like CGI departments, right? We have people who are just specifically trained in that field, and that's what they do, right? And they are experts in that field. And so I think if we can have something similar, where these experts are trained and they're implementing, AI for certain aspects of a film, I think that would be one positive way to see it, right? It makes their jobs easier without replacing or eliminating their jobs, and they become like experts, like the lighting scenario that you brought up. There are people that are hired to light these movies because they know how to do that, right? I mean, they
Right.
are the experts in doing that. It's not, and if anybody has tried to light something for a camera, it's not as simple as just going, oh, just put a light here and a light here. I mean, there's a lot of different variables at play, and depending on how many lights you're using, like the desired effect, etc. So like, again, I think if you can have a lighting department full of those experts that are using different types of AI programs to help with their job, right, or to complement their job, I think that is one way to do it. But I just don't know that that's what anybody is looking at right now.
Well, and it doesn't feel like, I mean, like, and as much as I bring up the analogy, I don't necessarily know, and I don't believe that it's a 1-to-1, right? Because like these models are, I mean, like, it's one thing for CGI to exist, but like, you're right. There's, when you look at, a Marvel film, there are hundreds of people who are working on CGI, and all different types of, there's, different variations on what you do in the there's rendering, and there's all different kinds of things. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what they all are. But I mean, like, yeah, so like, all. But does this, it'd be one thing if AI was able to, teach someone how to do this quicker, right? Or to remove some of the technical barriers. But again, if it's all it is you're typing in, do what Spielberg did on, ET,
More lens
make
flares.
and make it look like that, right? Then I mean, yeah, I don't know. So I don't, like I said, I don't trust. I don't trust us to use the technology well.
No.
And I don't trust it to. And so it's disappointing for someone like, I mean, like what the yeah, like is. And ultimately, the real question is, for moviegoers, is this going to make movies better, right? Is this going to make art better? And I think, universally, and like definitively, the answer is no, right? I don't. At no point do I feel like we're going to get great works of art written or painted or sculpted or filmed by AI. We may not know the difference. We may get schlock that we don't. But we're not going to get unique works that stand on their own. We're not going to get something that blows us away. We're just going to get filler. We're just going to get content. And
right.
And okay, and if that's the ultimate goal, then yeah, then you're fucked, because it won't, like, it doesn't. You're not I know this sounds how it sounds, but like, do you go into filmmaking is your ultimate goal just to make money? I know that some of the people that it is. I get it, right? Is it just to fucking just to be to be able to play, to be able to say that you you put out some, you generated you typed in some commands and generated a TV show that two people watched, or it doesn't make any sense to me, like, from an artist's perspective, why you would want to utilize this unless you had no other choice. And I don't think that argument stands. I don't think the argument stands I'm this great artist, right? The person who made the Tribeca film is not a great artist. They didn't have a story. They didn't have their own story to tell.
Right.
What they told was somebody else's story, and they couldn't make a film. This wasn't about they didn't have the money to do it. They couldn't do it.
Right.
Because you all have this.
I know.
You can you have the means and the production to make something, right? And so just typing it in is not, just having the idea is not the execution.
Right.
And what is, again, from a Scorsese perspective, I don't get it, because you've got all of the money in the world.
Right.
You have Spielberg level money. People are lining up dump trucks worth of cash for you to make your films. So if you said, they were like, it's $200 million, and you said I needed another $5 million, what the fuck are they gonna say? No? Are you gonna say that I don't want to, that I need that $5 million for myself, and I'm not gonna hire somebody to do whatever? Go fuck yourself.
Right, but because Scorsese's last two pictures have come from Apple TV and Netflix. Those companies don't care. Okay, look, I don't mean to speak for those companies, but they don't care about that money, right? Look, because here's the thing. You know what, Spielberg? I'll give you $200 million because that's going to get people to fucking sign up for my service to see your film, right? That's it, and that's why they're going after someone like Scorsese, right? Is to bring him in to attract subscribers. So no, they don't care about extra money. So I don't know why he's jumping on board with this stuff, even if it's just to write storyboards. That's still somebody's job that you're going to take away.
Right.
So
to that end, is the ultimate goal for Scorsese to be able to make a film by himself?
He's 1,000 years old.
Well, or anybody, right? Is the ultimate goal to co-opt someone else's image, to co-opt someone else's voice, to co-opt someone else's skill, and to make a film?
Look, I think this shit pisses me off, right? But I think one of the bigger issues too is why are we even using AI to do this stuff? Use AI to go solve real world problems. Frankly, this is not a problem that needs solving, right? Being able to light a scene without an entire lighting department is not a problem that we need to have fixed.
And there's only so much. Look, outside of generating more people, there's only so much money to go around. There's only so much attention to be held.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, so like, what are you going to do? Like people have to sleep. They can't. They have to work. I mean, at this point, they do at least. Like so you generating this much more content is just diluting your product. And again, I'm no great economist, economic mind or anything. I mean, like, but ultimately, I don't understand like what your end game is.
Yeah. Or here. How about this? How about this? Here, let me give you the end game. You know what? Yeah. Design AI to do all this stuff so people don't have to, but let's provide people with still a better than comfortable living wage so they can just do whatever they want. Right. I mean, because this is what's happening, right? It's like these companies, and this is the same. Like, I know we've talked about this before, and like we just screened blue collar, and so I always kind of think about like these things too. But this is what happens with automation, right? We figure out how to automate something to save these corporations and companies money, at the same time reducing the employees or like human labor needed to do it. But then we do nothing with those humans. We just throw them away, and we tell them to go find a new job. Well, what the fuck? They've been training how many years to do this, and you just got a computer to do it, and now you're saying it's their fault. Well, here's the thing. Let's use automation and technology to give us more leisure time so we can go create other things that we want to create. Yeah. But that's apparently, I think that's like anti-American and 100% anti-capitalist, because fuck that.
Well, and you can tell that I'm not some great economic mind because I can't say the word economist. But
that's okay.
It really is. I mean, like, again, it's really truly bizarre because, I mean, at this point, you're tainting your brand to a degree of, to a significant degree, I think. And again, especially for someone who's like A24, is supposed to be the champion of the little film, and like I mean, and I know that that's all put upon act as well. But I mean, still, at least it was there. I mean, now there's no pretense at all.
Yeah,
to
there was an
like artistic integrity. Yeah. And look, okay, so is at some point, the necessity for, I mean, or does Netflix see this as some? And again, we're throwing this out there. I know we're kind of diverting because we're talking about a bunch of different things, right? But like.
That's what we do.
Does Netflix think that I can create the next Stranger Things just by clicking a button and saying, create the next Stranger Things, and with that, and it doesn't matter if it's good or not, but I don't have to pay the Duffer Brothers in this case. Yeah. And the other thing, I don't really truly, and again, no one ever will. This will never come up, but we're not really truly talking about the cost of what we all think that this is fucking free, and it's not.
Right.
There are billions of dollars being spent. There are. I mean, and again, whatever, but there are ecological ramifications of this.
Yes.
There are dollars on the back end that have to exist that are not being taken into consideration. So like this idea of,
and again, people are being put out of work, so that's a cost.
Right. And we're taking a toll on water supplies and
land.
And yeah. So
and, natural resources, yeah.
And all this automation. And I know, look, automation has happened throughout, I mean, our very short history. And not all of the automation has been necessarily bad. But in this case, it does feel like we've kind of hit a place where we're not ready for how fast this will happen in regards to how we're going to adjust as a society. Everything else existed in a sense of like, we can figure out how to dumb this down and make it useful to an extent, and then we'll frivolize, make it frivolous. Look at this, we just seem to jump into, the other thing is that like AI is being given this level of veracity that I don't really truly believe is there either. And like, when no one's really questioning, is what's happening here what we say is happening? Like, is this automation actually real? Are we actually doing things that are making things better? Are we actually speeding things up? Because it's one thing to take, it's one thing to generate an email or, social media or put together a recipe book or, throw it together, even like something like a children's book that people can't necessarily tell the difference on. But
or even a resume or a CV. I mean, like
right. And look, and all of that's fair game because you're already. I mean, like individual usage on that scale. And what else are you gonna fucking do? Because you just simply can't. I mean, like you can't. I mean, like, at this point, you can't avoid it if you want to. If you want to be able to do what you want to be able to do, like that, some of those things, it's nearly impossible.
Well, and I mean,
it's
so
not
much
impossible necessarily.
No, but so much of it is baked into everything that you do, right? I mean, so
Right.
like, I mean, I don't know when I realized that every time I type something into Google, that it was going through Gemini,
Right.
and I was just like, whoa, wait, what is that? Like, so I mean, like, it's baked into everything. It's become a marketing term, right, and a marketing ploy, right? So things that we thought of as the algorithm are now AI, right?
Yeah, and it's funny that, like, I guess it's not. I mean, funny is not the right term, but it's so typical that like corporate entities glom onto this, like, and because of this idea of automation seems like it has no cost whatsoever,
Right.
and that basically there is no cost associated, and it can only eliminate and make things better and faster. And again, faster and better aren't synonymous.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, like, from this A24, yeah, it's all fucking disappointing because at this point it's not making anything better. Like that, like I don't necessarily know that is that movie Stop the Train or I forget exactly what
Stop that train.
Stop that train. They got busted for using AI
Right.
in some like post CG, post effects. So like the trains going through a mountain.
Yeah.
like the struts were gone off of the bridge on the train. I mean, so it's like shit like that. Like that one, people aren't good enough at this to like really.
Well, right, and then you
truly,
just look like an
navigate.
asshole. I mean,
And then you look like an asshole because you didn't like disclose it.
or you didn't check your work. I mean,
Right. And for all of the things you said you were going to use it for, you didn't use it for that. Because it's simply a simple, reprompt would have fixed it.
yeah.
Or it wouldn't have, and you got frustrated and just put it out hoping no one would notice, right? And that's the other thing is that, like, you're in bed with this thing and you can't get away from it because you've already said you don't, your budget's locked in, or you utilize it to do something else. And again, this idea, and I think that's one of the biggest things that pisses me off about the Tribeca piece is that, this was $2,000. It wasn't. And
No, right,
it wasn't. And
Right.
yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Let's fuck AI and really disappointed. Well, and I think A24 disappointing people has become a kind of recurring theme, especially with now that they're basically like venture capitalists. So, I mean, I don't know. I wonder how long A24 will actually exist. It's not the A24 we used to know. This is not your grandfather's A24. It's definitely something else, and I think it's just going to keep on sort of degrading. But speaking of degrading, let's get into how about this? Let's take a bite out of Citizen Vigilante.
The truth is this. You are all being used.
The vigilante citizen is delivering a brand of justice that some believe the authorities have failed to provide, targeting both criminals and those in power accused of allowing crime to flourish unchecked.
There's been a lot said about me, so I thought you should hear directly from me. I'm here to help you take that control back.
The state, court, police. See, you think that they've failed you, but they haven't. No, they only exist to control you.
Do you want justice?
Yes.
Let's get some fresh blood. You walk down the street and you get stabbed or robbed.
He's a real hero.
We need more guys like this.
What does your country do? Nothing.
Our current system is failing to protect our citizens.
He's like the real deal.
He's playing with us.
What if everything they ever taught was utter nonsense. We can change history.
All right, a man takes justice into his own hands, hunting down criminals. His vigilante crusade makes him a social media star, but puts him at odds with the local police chief, played by Costas Mandelar. Yeah. Look, I'm not sure I'm able to express the level of my abhorrence for this movie.
Yeah,
on like so many levels.
Look, we're in it now. So when I thought, oh, let's talk about this because it's interesting to me that it's an Army Hammer comeback vehicle, Uwe Boll film. Like the fact, the Army Hammer, were we in a different timeline where things didn't happen at a breakneck pace, and we could actually like stop and think about things. This Army Hammer experience could be truly studied, because I think like it's really I think there's a lot. I think there's nuance on the side of his cancellation, quote unquote.
Sure.
You know, I think that there's and so like his perfect storm. Look, the guy is not. I'm not defending him.
No,
but I will say that like there was nobody there were very few people, very few parties to this cancellation that actually were on the up and up, who came that were didn't have an agenda. I do think that ultimately, I think he's admitted this too, that he utilized his fame, to
not the most upstanding ends.
Right. Yes. So I mean, like there was a utilization of fame and money for sexual needs that he did not take good care of the people that were also participating with him. But like also then to, create the Hammer Time podcast and then completely pull it down from the internet. You can't find it anywhere anymore. To go out and have these weird conversations with like his mother and Tom Arnold,
other people who were canceled,
right? And he also didn't, and then to come across a couple of things. I'm jumping points, but he also would go on. He didn't he scrubbed his own podcast, but he would go on other podcasts, and then also talk about he was some sort of he was this guy, he was who went to rehab and figured it all out, and now it's become this kind of almost a weird Shia LaBeouf esque character in his own mind of oh, well, now I'm this evolved human being that exists above this plane, and I've stripped all the artifice of fame and money and my heritage and et cetera, and now I'm just this Ubermensch that exists, that just wants to get back to acting because I can't, the society won't let me do anything else. All that's is what it is, but to then choose an Uwe Boll film as because I think he did one other film before this, which I haven't seen, and he did. And he wasn't top bill, right? He wasn't
Frontier
top bill
Picnic, I think is what it was called. Was that right?
Yeah, I think, and Thomas Jane was top billed in that. So this is his every choice here, just from the fact that you're going to be. Look, I don't understand why anyone decides to be in an Uwe Boll film, and there are people that I legitimately Seymour Cassell has been in a Uwe Boll film. Yeah. I don't understand when you read these scripts why you think, oh, well, that's something I want to partake in. And look, I understand money and I understand how money works.
You just said you weren't an economist, so I don't know that I believe you.
Well, I understand how it comes in. I understand how to spend it.
That's what
outside of that. So that's what I mean by why I understand how it works. That's all there is to it, right? You make you do something, someone gives you some, and then you
spend it, and then you make some more. Yeah.
Right. And then you hope that whatever. That's how it works. That's how things work. I don't know why you would be in a film of his. I understand why somebody would, but I don't understand why anybody who's been in another film would be in an Uwe Boll film. It's because at this point, like, what's fucking crazy to me is like he can, well, and I know he hasn't made he was not nearly as prolific as he was when the German tax rebate thing was, written the way that it was back when he was making all video game films, because basically, like, one, people would invest and get their money straight back.
Right.
It was it was just basically seemingly like a money laundering thing that allowed this really shitty filmmaker to make really shitty films on the quick. Fine. That's fine. I get that. But I just don't understand, like, after you've been in, I mean, and look, I understand Christina Loken and some of those, those actors being in multiple films, because they're probably not getting other opportunities outside of like Terminator 3. But that being said, like, maybe if you weren't in an Uwe Boll film, you would get other opportunities. I don't know. But what's crazy to me, like, he's still able to pull, like, and names, I guess, is questionable, but like, someone like Woody Allen, which, again, not defending Woody Allen, but like someone like Woody Allen is like stuck making films only in French with French actors. Like, I mean, it's like at this point, like, his career is essentially, although he has, he still makes movies. Who the fuck knows what they are? Like, I mean, like, and that's crazy to me for an Oscar nominated, like, celebrated artist, that has gotten his career to this point. Yeah, that's nuts. And Uwe Boll is, I mean, and look, most people don't know who Uwe Boll is. Like, I mean, your average, Joe Schmo moviegoer doesn't know who Uwe Boll is. But for those who do, it's really bizarre that you would choose this film to be your comeback role. Yeah. I know I've rambled here, but I wouldn't have chosen this. I wouldn't have really asked for us to talk about this. And I know we're already kind of, like I said, we're already in it. But had I known what this was about, and I should have done more research, I wouldn't have brought it up. I don't want to bring more attention to this film because it's a train wreck and it's a piece of shit. Yeah. And it's disgusting, and it's inept. It's just It's not only not interesting. I mean, it's not only racist and
xenophobic
and xenophobic and just right and like, but it's messages all over the place. It's not even to the standards of like Angel Studios or God's Not Dead horse shit. It's not even Dinesh. I mean, it's kind of Dinesh D'Souza kind of level of bullshit. Yeah. But more dangerous than that in a sense, because what it's asking and what it's enabling and what it's championing is I mean, yes, it's great, but it's fuck. I mean, look, I don't want to give this film too much credit, but it really is. I don't know. Am I going too far to say it's a dangerous fucking movie?
No, I agree with you, and I think that's why we actually need to talk about it a little bit, right? So even after I started watching this, and I was like, why the fuck did he suggest this? I was like, but actually, it needs to be sort of like brought up because we're not talking about these films, right? And this is a film that was banned in Germany, right, because of its message. And then, so wasn't really allowed to be shown. And then Elon Musk put it up on X for like 2 days so that people could see it because he agreed with this message. I mean, this is about a man who goes around essentially looking for immigrants to kill because there is, in the film, right, a perceived crime wave, being committed just by immigrants. And this, again, like, this is the message coming from a lot of like right-wing media. This film is set in Europe, but I mean, it's over here too, right? I mean, we hear the same thing, exactly the same thing. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's important to talk about is that we have these talking heads in this film, right? Saying, why are we supporting all of Africa so that they can come over here and kill us, right? I mean, which again is just like a blatant lie. It's just a blatant lie, right? And so then like defenders of this film are saying, well, this film was based on real events. And it's like, okay, there was one case, right, that was here, but none of this means that you're allowed to just slaughter an entire family, right? I understand. And I understand that the justice system can have its mishaps. But again, like we do with so many things, we completely miss the larger systemic issues, right? Or how we got to a certain place. We just then say, well, now we just need to kill all these people. And so if we're talking about in the film, right, we're talking there's one of the major cases is a rape case, a gang rape committed by young immigrant boys, right? Okay, deplorable.
At least one of them anyway, right?
It's horrible, right? It's horrible, and it's objectively a horrible thing, right? But here's the thing that I think pisses me off, and it's the contradiction, right? It's the hypocrisy of those on the right who will stand up and say, well, no, they should all be murdered. But yet, when that swimmer from Stanford rapes a girl behind a dumpster, we're all kind of like, yeah, 6 months. Like, we don't want to ruin his life, right? Because he's a white kid. And I don't want this is, and that is what it is, right? And this is the sense of racism that these people deserve death. These people deserve a second chance. The only time someone like Armie Hammer cares, the character, cares about a woman, right, is when she's assaulted by brown people.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah, there's a ton to unpack.
Yeah, and I mean,
and just so like, but the problem, and not that I want this to be a better movie to influence, but I'm always like struck by why there are no better movies that do this. Where I mean, and I'm granted, I'm glad. But I'm just like, where's the Leni Riefenstahls like of
right, sure, of the modern right wing
of the modern era, because we're left with the Ben Shapiros and the Uwe Balls,
yeah, and the Jonathan Majors,
right? We're left with these fucking people who there's and look, I know that it exists on the liberal side, then the left side as well. Like, where we're just where you're just preaching to the converted in a sense, but like, okay, so let's just take that this film posits that all essential, like that all immigrants are, should be sent back to their countries of origin because their countries of origin are violent and
therefore they are violent,
dystopian, and that the only people that can escape those countries are criminals, and that our government is horrifically ineffectual. Our justice system overlooks it. Not only that, our police forces are actively, campaigning against it. This film has no idea what it actually wants to say,
right?
Or because it's not really just right-wing talking points. At a certain point,
no, but it's all geared towards like the right wing sort of mentality, because so even if like we're all like, yeah, you know what, the justice system is lacking and police departments are corrupt, but are they really corrupt in that they're protecting the immigrants?
Well, I mean, like this, yeah. The film is like, it's so fucking one. It's so bad. It's such an Uwe Ball film,
yeah.
Right? It is shit at the very fucking beginning, and it's shit all the way throughout. And for a person who's made this many films, it's one thing to be like a delusional Ed Wood. It's one thing to be Tommy Wiseau, right? It's one thing to have a passion. And then look, I'm not equating the messages of obviously there's no ill intent. There's no ill intent from a Wood or a Wiseau. So putting him in the same, but as far as technical skill,
yes,
like at least those two had desire. They just didn't have the means or the skill to back it up. They didn't really. I mean, for a person who's made this many films, it's impressive that you have made really significantly bad ones, and you only continue to make bad ones.
Right.
And you just glom on to, if I see another fucking movie that has mice clicks in it, or fucking screen grabs from like TikTok videos and shit, I'm just it's embarrassing how bad on a technical level your film actually is and how shitty it looks. It's fucking awful. And so that aside, it's almost unwatchable just in that sense. The rest of it, like you have this weird white savior in a European land.
And we don't even get a country. I love that we're just in Europe.
Oh, I know. Right. When it's, yeah. Who has, the Army Hammer is this.
And he's American.
Again, an American
immigrant,
trust fund baby who is taking care of family property. So basically he's a slumlord in Europe who is pissed off about having to
live in a socialist country.
Basically, yes. Yeah. To have to conform to people not paying their rents. And it's, that people aren't putting in, the proper, they're making the, doing what they should be doing. And then he's taken it upon himself to become this, Charles Bronson-esque, vigilante who goes around and solves this country's problems, but not really though. Right. I mean, the film opens up with this white lady grocery shopping with this little kid, and then she just randomly gets stabbed in the neck. and it's just
ridiculous.
It's a ridiculous scene.
It's ridiculous.
But I mean, so at different times, right? At different times in this film, I'll get to the Army Hammer stuff. I'm trying not to jump ahead, I don't know why Army Hammer would do this. But at different times, this film is anti-cop, it's anti-government, it's
anti-immigrant the entire time.
It's anti-woman, it's it's all over the fucking place. Yeah, and it's anti-immigrant all over. And I don't understand, it's not good, it's not really even, look, there's assholes out there that are going to buy into this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, do not look on Reddit. Do not look this film up on Reddit.
But it's not even good propaganda. Right. It's not I always go back to the scene in American History X and the Tony K, where Ed Norton's outside of the the mini mart or the grocery store, and having that speech in front of it. It's not even that level of and I know that American History X is not trying to convert, but that speech is indicative of how powerful this message can be when you're talking to a rapt audience who does feel displaced. Maybe I'm glad that there's not a good voice for this.
Yeah.
But how is there not
but it's not. But that's the thing.
I'm arguing for something terrible, and I don't mean to. I just
right.
I just don't understand why. You. This is how you. The end of this movie, he massacres a family because of the son, and
right.
It's just, and it's obviously Islamophobic.
Yeah.
And it's this whole idea of and it uses Trump dog whistles, even though they try to throw Trump out there at the beginning about how he never served, and this idea that Army Hammer, there's no way that this fucking guy served in the military, who put it's all over the place. And again, I know that that's kind of how these right-wing conspiracy bullshit is as well. It's all over the place.
Right, because they're all just logical fallacies stacked on top of each other.
But I don't understand, how are you expected to, they murder the sister and the mother as well because they put out on social media. I mean, they try to paint this weird last 10-minute picture of this family. And this is what when I read about this, so I started to get into it, and this is racist. Yes, it's racist, but it's weirdly not it's weird, since it's all over the place, its message is so, I expected it to be constant barrage of Islamophobia and anti-immigrant and anti all brown people. It really veers off into where there's and I think this is again indicative of Uwe Boll. He's just such a bad filmmaker, is that he can't help himself but indulge in these ultra violent scenes that go fucking nowhere. There's a whole sequence where Army Hammer lures cops into his apartment, one of his apartment complexes, and then just massacres all of them. And it's not this is a good 5-10 minute sequence where we just see cops standing in a room getting shot. They're just waiting to get shot.
Yeah. They just walk in to get shot in the face.
At no point do any of them try to escape. The bullets start to fly.
In fact, they send in a second wave.
Right.
It's like Costas Mandylor. What are you doing? You just watched a whole bunch of them get murdered and you're second team. Why? Why do that?
there's this whole like weird subplot. And like Army Hammer throughout this entire time was one kind of like a Kaiser Soze type role where he's talking to the cops, but he's also then posting out on the internet in a, where he's hiding his face. But this idea that like, it never really explains, but like I know what it's trying to get to, like that Europe is this like kind of surveillance state. But again, that's happening everywhere. Like it's again, like it's a weird thing to like, I don't know, it's a weird thing to like bring up. And I just feel like it's this, it feels very Musk-esque in the sense of like,
absolutely.
It's such a straw. All the arguments are straw man.
Yes,
they're all
100%.
And like then none of you can't. There's no backing any of them.
No, it's straw men and false equivalencies all the way throughout. Like that is it.
But yeah, this film ends with like one. It has all these like interjections of people on TikTok saying, "Oh, we need this guy over here. He's amazing." I mean, like, and then there's all these like people in talking to the cops. People like what he's doing, and then he goes out and murders a family, and then all of his kids' friends.
Yep.
And just lures them in and shoots them point blank, saying that the justice system, doesn't do its job. All with like. As if that makes what he's doing okay. Again, I understand the arguments is not
deeply
good.
flawed.
It's not a good one,
deeply
right?
Flawed.
But
deeply
I don't
flawed.
like. Is that the way you're going to win hearts and minds? Is that the way you're going to convince people that it's one thing to inhumanely treat immigrants. It's one thing to put them away in concentration camps that you can't see. Are we really making a call to just fucking murdering them in their own homes?
Yeah, I think some people are. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, that's what sucks, dude, isn't it? Like I think there's, unfortunately, like, a little too much, like, truth in this guy and like, some of these, like, the inserted, TikTok champions. I mean, that's the thing is that, like, yeah, right. I think that there's a lot of people that want to go out and fucking do this shit.
And look, I mean, like we're going to screen a film tomorrow that does this exact same thing, but a different message with Joe from 1970 with Peter Boyle. But again, like,
but that movie has an actual commentary, and it's this
Agreed.
kind of like sly, dark satire, right? And I mean,
I'm with you. I'm not.
Yeah.
But like,
no, I know.
I guess my question was this, and I guess maybe. Uwe Boll is not going to be the leader of some great movement.
No.
Right?
No.
But is this how you convince someone who's on the fence that immigration is bad and that our governments can't do anything about it, so take up arms and start slaughtering people on the street?
No.
And again, like, I'm glad that this is the message that won't come across. But like, I also like looking at this. I'm like, this is such a I don't know. I mean, like like these types of films. This is not even that really unique. It's just this one's just really gross. But like, this is not terribly dissimilar from something like Death Wish or Dirty Harry or even like to a certain extent, like although Falling Down is not, doesn't champion Michael Douglas at the end. Like this would have been interesting. Maybe a new take on a 30-year-old film, could be interesting in this sense of like, let's examine why these things happen. Like, and like, but here's the thing with like, Army Hammer has everything, right? His only inconvenience is that 10% of his tenants may not pay all of their debt, may not pay all of their rent,
because that's how the government works there,
right?
Yeah.
And like. Yeah. He has to like occasionally keep up with buildings that are falling down. But outside of that, like there's no we don't like in Death Wish and in Falling Down. I mean, in Dirty Harry is a cop, so that's a different thing. But like we understand the motivations of someone, and I spit on your grave, right? We understand this is not a vigilante in a sense of like he has anything. It's a really interesting, like, I guess. I would think as I'm sitting here kind of put myself in Uwe Boll, I'm thinking I'm making a fucking realistic Batman movie. This is what Batman should be doing. Is
Well, the
protecting
alternate
right
title
with
was The Dark Knight, right?
Right. Which go fuck yourself,
I know.
man.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop. Can we?
Yeah.
It's a shit movie. It's a piece.
Yes.
It's a racist movie.
Yes.
Can we just talk about like Army Hammer?
Yeah. Wait. Can I say one?
Oh yeah, sure.
I just want to say
absolutely.
like one statistical thing because I want any listener out there to hear this because I want to point out that statistically, at least in the United States, immigrants, documented or undocumented, are less likely to commit violent crimes than natural born citizens. This is not just me saying this, right? I mean, go to house.gov, just do any kind of actual statistical research and you will find those numbers. The state that we live in, Texas, right, has the most in-depth numbers of that. And that's what those numbers show, is that immigrants commit less violent crimes than natural born United States citizens, and they are more likely to report violent crimes. So anyway,
I don't know, Brock. I saw Citizen Vigilante, and like
you're right,
there were
right.
two.
That's
There were
not
two
what they
crimes.
said. Yeah.
There were only 2 crimes committed in that film, and they were both by
So-
people by actors of
yeah.
color.
But now go on to Army Hammer. Yeah.
Can we like? Look, I get money and needing money, but why the fuck would anybody of color be in this fucking?
No shit.
That's what I was like. I was sitting there watching, and I don't know the nationality of the person, of that family at the end of the film. But I mean, like, if you had put somebody up in brownface, I wouldn't have been shocked because that would have been
Right.
like on par with this film. But like,
Right.
why? Like, there's got to be better ways. Because like, this is. Look, I don't know. I don't want to equate it
I know.
to really bad things, but like, it's a weird betrayal. Like, and maybe you didn't know, or maybe it was segregated off, or maybe you just. But fuck, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? So going to that route, like, what is Army Hammer doing? Like, there's a whole sequence where he pays, and again, this whole like weirdly progressive in regards to sex work. But like, why is Army Hammer in a film where like he's having like weird, weird. I shouldn't say, I don't want to kink shame, but like this, but graphic, and it's not overly so, but like he's having sex on film with a prostitute and like kind of dominating her. I mean, it's fucking weird that this guy would choose.
Right.
Like,
It's
why
weird.
would you? This is like, do you have no like
Self-awareness.
Yeah, like of your perception?
If
This is
only
what, like-
if only his character would have said, "I'd like to cook your ribs and eat them."
I mean, I wouldn't have been shocked. And like, I know
That
you
would have
don't.
been- that would have been
he doesn't-
awesome.
He doesn't have like the ability, right, to pivot the way that like Dean Cain or Shazam or Kevin Sorbo do. Why can't I never remember Shazam's name anymore?
Zachary Levi.
Zach Levi. He doesn't have the way to pivot, right? Because he doesn't he's too close, right, to the sexual improprieties, blanket that can exist to him. So I understand, but like there's a way to get into the Angel Studios route, and then there's this, which is I'm just gonna go full Uwe. Like I'm gonna be in this really, again, overly extended, poorly lit. Like he's also like weirdly tatted up in a sense, and like you feel like those tats are supposed to mean something, especially to Uwe Boll. Like it's just
But he's awful in
don't
this movie. He is so bad.
Oh yeah, no, he's terrible.
I mean, he is so bad.
But like, why? I mean, like, again, out of all of it, I understand, like, on the surface, before you read the script, oh, this guy's like gonna take, like, because this reads like anything else. Like, this reads like a Statham film. This reads like
until you get into the stuff like the faux kind of like BBC broadcast, and all they do is talk about like the anti-immigrant stuff. I mean, like, there's so much like anti-immigration stuff or anti-immigrant stuff within the first like 10 minutes. That I'm just like, how do you miss that? How do you be like, well, maybe it's not. Like, here's a question. Why didn't Army Hammer go, and maybe he can't. I mean, maybe that's like the biggest, like maybe that's the answer to all of our questions, is that no one else would talk to him, right? But like, why not do like what Aaron Eckhart is doing? And it's just Saban film after Saban film where he's like a CIA guy, but he's just shooting people. right? And it's like
Right.
it's like the big bads that have always been the big bads, right? It's like terrorist groups, or it's like, spies gone bad, or it's like spies gone wild. That's a different different video. But like, why not go into something like that? Because you could see where he could play that role, right? He's big, he's cut, he doesn't have to talk a lot, right? I mean, he could do that, but
right, and that pays the bills, pays them probably really well.
Yeah.
And no one's going to look, the time for Eckert to have won an Oscar or to truly put together like an A-list career has come and gone. And so fine, he looks great. He's not the worst thing in the thing, and he gets to still be.
I'm kind of a fan. I'm kind of a fan of the Saban films. Let's go. Let's do it.
There is nothing wrong with direct-to-video action flicks.
Nope.
I mean, they serve a purpose. They're all the same, but who gives a shit? Like that's what the '80s were built on.
Exactly.
And occasionally, some of them will be really fun. And again, somebody will really love one for whatever reason, and you'll get to make a shit ton more of them.
Yeah.
Like, isn't he doing some sort of dog series now where he's didn't we watch one? I don't even remember if we watched or did I make you watch an Aaron Eckert dog movie where he's
but wait, he was in one, but I won't watch it because it's like a military film with the dog. Yeah. So I'm not going to watch anything bad happen to a dog. Oh wait, but I don't like dogs, according to one listener.
Oh, did they say that?
No, right, because of my opinion on the film Good Boy.
Oh, right? Good Boy.
This guy doesn't even like dogs. It's like, what? Are you serious? Oh,
you're right.
You have no idea. But I don't know. I think it's just that one film, and that was a few years ago, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I swear there's multiples of those.
Oh wow, really? Later. It's just Aaron Eckhart and his dog go on adventures, which I mean, that's awesome. I'm down for that. I mean, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, this. Is this a thing that Armie Hammer? I guess can be in the next Uwe Boll film.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
But we haven't seen I don't know if we have or not. To be quite honest, I don't know. But this feels like the first one of this wave of, okay, we did Angel and again, I know this, I don't always want to equate, you can have Christian films. I listened to Stryper and Petra back in the day, it's fine. I mean, it's not like I didn't, I grew up in a red state and what are you going to do?
It's weird. I always think it's weird when you start singing Creed songs. So.
Right. I always forget that Creed's a Christian band. But are we going to start? Is this the first of these types of movies? Because I know we had Dinesh D'Souza, but that seemed like a really kind of weird answer to Michael Moore, right? I mean, that just felt like all right, we're going to put these things out there. They're just horrible propaganda, but this is like Trump as a backlash to Obama. This is going to be a backlash to Michael Moore. We have to have this pendulum swing. Are we going to start seeing these types of films from people like Matt Walsh and or we've got Gina Carano and these people who have been canceled who come back in these kind of right-wing propaganda films. I don't know. I mean, but is this the first one? I don't know if there's other ones that exist. I know that there's been other ones that have been rumored, but I don't know if Shapiro's actually finished the film. I don't really give a fuck, to be quite honest. But but it will be interesting to be able to start seeing a lot more of these types of.
I think you mentioned left-wing kind of propaganda films, and I think the biggest difference is that there's only one that's really talking about actively harming certain parts of society, right? Or only one side that actively seeks to dehumanize certain sections of society. So, yeah, fuck this right-wing bullshit.
Well, anyway. Yeah, and yeah, fuck Uwe Boll. I mean,
and fuck Armie Hammer.
Okay, so it is. There's two of them. There's Muzzle, which was made in 2023, and then there's Muzzle City of Wolves.
Seriously?
2020, yeah, made 2025. I was hoping that there was another Muzzle in post-production or something. But
so the dog makes it out okay in Muzzle.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't want to. Oh my!
No, he's got a new canine partner in City of Wolves.
Seriously? Revenge has a new breed.
That's a terrible.
With new canine partner Argos, oh my God! Yeah, I'm not watching those.
Look at
after his dog is killed in Skid Row. Yeah, no, I'm not watching this.
Yeah, I don't recommend that you do. I'm just saying that this is like the weird gritty take on Turner and Hooch and K9. Although were there 3 K9 movies?
I thought so, right? Yeah.
There was K9, K911, and then something else. And what else was Belushi doing? I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, K9 PI, which was still Jim Belushi. He might have still be making those. I don't even know.
I mean, I would be. All right, can we talk about something else now?
This is the only Citizen Vigilante podcast from here on out.
I know. Let's move on to I Love Boosters. I think that we've eaten this one up enough.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think, and again, I think we'll talk about how I Love Boosters and eventually Buffalo Bill kind of overlap with this film, or kind of have a commentary on this film, at least indirectly.
Right.
All right. I Love Boosters.
Get your camera out. Let's go live. You know the egregious theft that's been happening at my stores. The boosters take my clothes because they're low-class urban bitches.
Christy Smith knows we exist. I call it triple F. Fashion, forward, philanthropy. I know how to spell philanthropy. Branding, though.
Corvette, you're a raw-ass, make-it-happen hustler.
Give it to me. It's mine anyway.
In fashion, humanity is our canvas. But the Velvet Gang is reducing our margins. But I can bob and weave.
Christy Smith stole my design.
What?
If she stole your design, we gotta get it back for that. I have a plan. Together, we empty out every single Metro designer in the Bay Area.
We gotta take what's ours.
We should coordinate.
Well, what are we waiting for?
They've taken everything. It's not even that yellow in here anymore.
You okay?
It's time to get loose!
You boosters just take.
Like you. We follow this plan to precision.
Their wig game is crazy.
Damn!
I'm gonna need you to trust me.
We have to make her cry.
3, 2, 1. Oh, come on. Let's take all of it. Grab them wigs.
A group of shoplifters take aim at cutthroat fashion maven by stealing her clothes and reselling them at a lower price, what they call fashion forward philanthropy, the 3 Fs. Look, I like a whole lot of what this movie is doing, even if I think it's largely flawed and kind of way too long, right? But I think that, you know, it's like equal parts kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's also, I think, deep or trying to be deep. I think it's philosophically kind of enlightening. I think there's a great explanation of dialectical materialism in this film. I mean, it like just kind of like spells it out to you. And the way it like, I think chastises and examines like the billionaire class. But I think it's also like really bloated, where I think Sorry to Bother You felt so much more focused, and sort of like kind of streamlined, speaking of Armie Hammer.
Right.
This one, this one feels like it just kind of like is trying to do way too much.
Yeah, I equated it to his, and again, I equated it to Mickey 17 as this post, and in the sense that this was a post successful film that got attention, you know, and again, you know, Bong Joon has done many films, but you have to imagine that his coming into the populist limelight obviously is Parasite, right? I mean, like that's, yes, I know he's done a shit ton of other things, and if you're a cinephile, you have seen most of the things that he's done. But for most people, Parasite would have been the thing.
He did Old Boy, right?
Yes, and he did every Asian film. He did Hard Boiled, City on Fire,
Seven Samurai.
Yes, Seven Samurai,
okay.
and the follow up 8.5 Samurai, which was a really weird, like surreal. Like,
the one with Ellen Barkin.
Yes, yeah. that was 9.5 Samurai Weeks.
I was just trying to like kind of hit all the
right. But where he had a larger budget to play with, and a much less focused narrative. And I think, like, for me, Boosters really worsens on rewatch because I want it to be, it's this kind of Looney Tunes-esque movie that doesn't, it stops having fun. Like, once it becomes, like, it tries to do way too many things. Like, its message that it's trying to get across, one, like, I think with Sorry to Bother You, it was such a sledgehammer, right, of the reveal, and there was nothing subtle about Sorry to Bother You, but like, you know, again, what it was just so hyper focused, or at least the subplots of like unionization and all of those were minor to Cassius's story. I think when you start to like, I would have loved the film just to be about the boosters, and for that to have figured out a through line to get to the skin suits, which I think is a really, really intelligent and like interesting way to posit that, like, this idea that these companies are, you know, creating these ways to infiltrate and to keep us down. I think the idea when you get to the workers and you add this kind of like
teleportation
weird,
sci-fi plot.
This plot MacGuffin that exists in this, like, you know, it loses a ton of its strength. And like, it also loses its Looney Tune era, I don't know, esque nature, in the sense of like, now it's all kind of grounded in this sci-fi where this world wasn't real to begin with. It was all bright day glow colors and like slapstick and like slanted buildings and characters who
live in a former like fried chicken restaurant. I mean,
right, and like, and this, fuck this whole like clothing store, which I'm trying to figure out, like, but this whole fashion brand that exists that, you know, switches colors every, you know,
but it's all monochrome.
It's all monochrome colors that it switches, and you have like Will Poulter playing this great like store manager, who's all over. I mean, like, you know, or he's almost foghorn, like, you know, he's like, you know, he's his typical stereotypical like painted with a broad brush bad guy, and yeah, the fun gets sucked out of it as soon as you start to introduce the teleportation device. It again can do whatever the plot needs it to do. It's very much like, it's very much the Turning Sticks and Disclosure Day, where it becomes this crutch.
Oh, now it's deconstruction mode. Now it's
right, and now we can make it, you know, tear down things and save cancer, but also get people to come together. I also think, like, I don't trust a Boots Riley film that ends on a positive beat. This idea that we can just all come together if we're sprayed with a bunch of like, acceleration water, and it's all going to be fine.
And this idea that protest. I mean, this is maybe a little reductive, I think, of me to say about the end of this film, but almost that like, hey, protest is the way forward, right? Protest is how we get things done, which we've seen, like, that's not necessarily the case, right? Going out with pickets and signs and yelling, I don't want to like sort of dismiss it, but it's not like when you're met then with water cannons, right? When you're met then with military grade police, you know, forces, what are we doing, right? It's not that simple, unfortunately, especially here. I think especially in this country, right? We don't have a great track record of protests leading too much of anything. And even if you want to take like the civil rights and say like, well, you know what, Brock, you know, there's this whole movement, right, where people couldn't vote, now they can. It's like, well, but that's being stripped away, right, in front of our eyes in the year of our Lord 2026. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think the ending is a little too, let me tie a nice, pretty little ribbon on this. And it just, it feels false. And I'm with you. I don't trust it either. He's smarter than that.
And that's the thing, is that I feel like, again, he loses that thread, like, weird. And like, the movie overall, like, again, feels bloated in the sense of like by the time that the last chase sequence, right? By the time that we try to figure out, and we've convoluted the narrative so bad, right?
Yeah.
Because now the plot device can do three things, right? It's not just about stealing the clothes and putting pressure on our corporate overlords. Now it can deconstruct the conflict, right, and break it down to its bare bones nature. And now it can accelerate and like we then now we have this device that can do too many things, right?
Yep.
Because now you've painted yourself way too many corners. Like you've got such a wide street to go down that you don't have to solve your main problem anymore. I think there's some really interesting pieces that the Asian workers bring to the table. But I think again that plot device, and I think the most interesting thing is like the narrative of our goals not aligning, right?
Right.
That
Yes.
that each one of these groups wants to do something different. And with Keke Palmer's like, well, that we do A and B,
and
C's kind of a your thing. So if A and B get to C, that's cool, but we're not interested in C. I think that's an interesting thread to pull. They don't do anything with that.
No, I
it
know.
all comes together at the end. It all comes like, oh, kumbaya. And like you get this idea of like, oh, Keke Palmer kind of comes around, but really she doesn't.
No.
Like it's just things just happen and they happen to work out.
Yeah.
She gets that C because, well, that's the only way to really get to back to A and B. But like, I don't know. We should, like, the film was called I Love Boosters. At a certain point, like really like 45 minutes in, they stop boosting.
Right.
And so like the whole fucking film should have been about the conflict of boosting, and the conversation around boosting. You can have a fun, stylistic, really visually interesting, fun way to tell this story, but you can't lose the momentum of your heroes. And like, I compare this, and again, Set It Off is not that great of a film,
right?
But it's a much more interesting like narrative in this sense, because you get like your four main characters, you understand their motivations for what they're doing, right? And it's a similar message. These women that are, being taken advantage of, they haven't found their place in this the corporate structure, the way that their talent hasn't been recognized. They're fighting back in a way that seems easy and difficult all at the same time, and controversial. There's no conversation around that, and I think that's one of the things that's really kind of disappointing about this film. Also, is that like, sorry to bother you, Cassius had to come to grips with playing in a white world, right? You had to come to grips with the sellout, and that's why Mr. Blank, whose fucking name is Mr. Blank for a reason, again, it's all didactic, but at least it serves its purpose, right? In the sense of like, there has to be some sort of internal conflict. This can't just be, oh, well, communism's great and there's no conflict and we should all just be communists. You can make that argument, but you can't make the argument and make it stick if you don't have, if you don't show the conflict of communism as well. And like, I think that's what Sorry to Bother You did. And this, they boosted. There was really no repercussions, right? There was really no issue aside from them not being liked by the person that they emulated. And then we throw in all these like worker concerns, which again that's great, but that's not the story you're telling. Those workers aren't. They're probably being harmed by the boosting as well, because like you could make an argument that like the boosting impacts their salaries, and I know
the boosting leads to then like having to create more and more and more.
Right. The message of like people selling out their community, going on the news, but also this idea of skin suits, of these corporations building and infiltrating. And I think building and infiltrating these communities in ways that make it difficult for people to get out of or better their situation. I think the Ponzi scheme is an interesting look at it. Yeah. And again, you can have fun with all of that, but it just feels like we waste a good 30 minutes at the end of the film, but the diversion had already been set into place. So once you start to introduce this idea of another set of characters, I I don't know, your main characters don't learn anything.
Right.
And they get out of it so easy. Like that's what's weird to me is like Cassius at the end of Sorry to Bother You is fucked.
Right.
I mean, like it's not like, I mean, like there was repercussions to the way that
he's an actual
behaving,
horse person.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And now we're all just like weirdly kumbayaing it, and like everyone's like, oh well, you know, it's great because, you know, we are protesting and standing up for ourselves. I mean, that's not a terrible message, but it's also disingenuous to your story. And I watched the second time I've watched this, just I mean, like knowing what's coming, like completely undercuts the excitement that I had during the first half of this, and I'm just like, this is a slog. And it was a slog to begin with, but like it really, like once you what's sad is like what's cool is like he has such a cool visual flair.
Yes. Yeah.
Like once the skin suits, like the stop motion stuff is in place, it's awesome. But like, I mean, that visually is really cool. But it's hard to care when it's all wrapped up in this like overblown, chase sequence that like you don't really know like what the fuck is going on most of the time. She's jumping back and forth between, trying to avoid. I mean, just like
No, I know.
This is not what this film is. It's not an action pick. It's not. And just because you have the budget to do it and you have the budget to do the special effects doesn't mean that you should undercut the story in that sense. And I don't know. To me, it was really disappointing.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, I think that there's a lot of ideas in here that I really like, but it just never quite goes far enough or does much with it, right? So as much as I like how they kind of lambaste, the Demi Moore character, right, and kind of hold her up as this sort of like Jeff Bezos sort of Elon Musk-esque sort of character, they don't really do enough with that, right? No. Nothing ever really happens to her. There's no real comeuppance there, right, for being a shitty fucking awful person. And then the boosters, they're trying to make money too. And okay, is that because there's no other avenue, right, for work? Is there some bigger reason behind it? Because there doesn't seem like there is, right? And there's a moment where, they're selling stuff and a mother and her daughter like say to them, like, she wouldn't have school clothes if it wasn't for this. And I'm like, but we don't do anything with that. I mean, kind of at the end, we get like, now they have a community center, but we don't really see it. We just see the outside of it, right? So like, and that never felt like that was a reason that they were doing all this. And
yeah,
which I think
also
would have been a cool idea to sort of tie this idea of community back together, right? And then like you're saying, they're kind of like ideas overlapping, right? I mean, this is, again, another really interesting idea that we're seeing in politics right now, especially like on the left, right? Where these ideas are not aligning. Right? You have like factions within the same group fighting each other, right? You have Democrats, centrist Democrats coming out saying, well, we don't believe in the socialist wing of the Democrats. And you're like, oh, fuck off. Now we're just going to screw everything up again. But it's kind of the same thing there, right? Like, well, if this happens because of this, okay, but we're not really going to help you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
And there's another piece like, and again, I don't necessarily need this motivation because this has happened a lot in film, but like, you get, at one point Keke Palmer's designs are in the store, but you find out that she never submitted them at all. So it's an appropriation of the culture that Demi Moore's character probably stole them off of Instagram posts or things like that. But like in the odd chance that would actually happen, it was a weird aside. Like it was a weird thing of like, and again, there could have been something done with that where it was like, this kind of like, melding of thought or like, whatever. You could have done something with it, but you don't. And like, I also didn't get Pinky Ring Man. I mean, I don't.
Why was he? Why was he there? Why was he?
It seems like a weird like. Just a typical oral sex joke that goes on way too long.
But why?
And like it's like it again. Like you have the budget to do something. I couldn't. And maybe somebody else smarter than me can talk to this point.
But does that actually affect the plot at all?
I mean, like he's a device to get them into the show.
Okay, but you could have.
Right, you don't need him for that. Right, you don't need him for that. And it just feels like. I didn't know if it was making some sort of commentary about women being derailed by mediocre men, or like if that's something that happens in the Black community.
I think it happens in like every community, but
right. No, I don't mean to be like that fucking guy, right? I'm just
no. I know. I was just saying like there's mediocre men everywhere, right?
right. I know.
No,
and
I know what you're saying.
It sounds pompous for me to be like, oh, does this? I mean, like, yeah, fuck me, right? I'm a dick. But I'm just trying to understand, like, is this a commentary on something about, because he is targeting Black women, and that there is the trope of oral sex. I mean, I've seen True Romance. I mean, like, I understand, like, I don't want to be.
Is it a cultural? Is it a cultural thing that we don't understand?
I'm gonna go do the Running Man here and just like and fucking.
As long as you do the Roger Rabbit.
I feel like a dick, but like I'm just.
I mean, look, I'm with. I don't know why he's there. And yes, maybe we don't get the joke, which is fine.
But I mean, like he comes back. He keeps coming back, right? I mean, like, and at the end, he's like, she can't be with him because he's given up oral sex, and like she can't be with somebody who. I mean, so like. That
seems fair.
It feels pointed, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that does seem fair. Yeah.
Sure, I get that, but it seems pointed that they keep coming back to that point. It's coming back to that particular point. It was a weird, and it's a weird aside to put in a film that, like, for normies, it's really going to throw you. Like for like your average, again, not that I give a shit too much, and I don't want artistic integrity to be compromised. But for a film that's already kind of weird, and if you're trying to get people on your side, like something like Citizen Vigilante actually is, this also seems like a weird thing to put in your film of a gigantic vampire demon sex snake who sucks souls out through genitalia, men or women, although you only see the women, in a really like silly graphic scene.
Very silly.
And like some cool makeup and stuff, but like, I mean, again, like what the fuck,
right. But like, why?
But it feels weird in a film that like it doesn't need it, and also you're really then limiting an audience that could react to it, right? And I'm talking about like a younger audience who would be thrown by this, or parents that wouldn't let people see this because of that particular scene. And again, you can make the argument of whether that's right or not. But I mean, I do think that it's limiting in a way that you may not want your movie to be limiting in that sense, and for that doesn't bring anything to the table, or if it does, if I missed it, doesn't seemingly bring anything to the table. It's a weird inclusion.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
As much as I liked Lakeith Stanfield, it was a really bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the same. I thought the same thing, and I just think that the film could have been as weird as you wanted to without the sci-fi element. And, I think that tonally it was always going to be, kind of weird and like you said,
sure.
Looney. And I think Looney Tunes is a great sort of like description because, again, like I'm fine with there being no sort of repercussions to this. I'm fine with Esther Gonzalez's character like saying things like, "Yeah, we all know who you are." Right? We all know this spot. Like I'm fine with that because that's the kind of world we're living in, right? Keke Palmer again, like lives in a building that was a former fried chicken restaurant, and like, and there's even a note that says, "We know you're in there," and like no one cares. And I think again, like that's the kind of world that we're in this film, and I think that's fine. We don't need these like layers upon layers that just, I think, get in the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that's why it really is so disappointing, because I think the things that it brings up and never kind of finishes, and it doesn't have to finish everything, but like Taylor Page's assimilation when she starts to get the job and having fun with it, I think is a really interesting thread too. And I also think Taylor Page should be in a lot more things.
I think this whole cast should be in more things.
Yeah, but why aren't we hiring Taylor Page more?
I don't know. I'm with you.
She's stunning and just a visual perspective, but also she's so good and so funny in this. Yeah, I don't know. I went in with big expectations.
Yeah,
and I was disappointed. And that's too bad, but what happens.
Yeah,
so, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to Boots Riley's next film. I mean, like, again, I think it's a big swing and I think it's a big miss. But I'm also still interested in seeing.
But also, I think like we'd rather have this kind of
for sure.
big miss, right, than some other things. I mean, he got $20 million to do this, and I think I love seeing him play in a bigger kind of like toy box, right? I also, to whatever extent, like he's actually able to. It's interesting that he's able to make these films and still project the message that he does. And I mean, I think it's interesting how that works, in today's day and age. I mean, like, do these people know? I mean, he does stuff for Amazon, and he clearly does not like Amazon's system. So he's within this system and also poking it in the eye. And is it just that, like, Amazon does not care because it does not matter?
I think it all
weird.
gives you a little bit of credence in the sense of like, and to be able to say, look, we're not controlling the narrative in this sense. But also, if it makes $1, they probably sell Nazi propaganda on Amazon.
Right.
They actually
absolutely.
could, right? I mean, and look,
Absolutely.
this is not Nazi propaganda. I'm talking about Amazon itself. Like, but I mean,
right.
This is like
anti-Nazi propaganda, actually.
Right. But I mean, like in a Bezos world, all he wants to do is go play in space. If anything gets him to that end, I don't think if there was a movie that was called Jeff Bezos is the fucking Antichrist, he probably would let it happen if there was dollars to be made in that sense.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll look forward to seeing what Boots does next, and we will talk about that as well. And maybe this time there won't be any like weird cunnilingus snakes. I don't know. Can you say that on podcast?
That's the title of his next film.
Cunnilingal snakes? That would probably be like the correct sort of, yeah.
It's like Sharknado,
but not? Yeah.
Right.
That's just, I mean, can you imagine?
The snake is actually called cunnilingus, and it's just this like mecha snake with like multiple tongues.
Right.
Just
right.
It goes around.
Oh, okay. Let's
oral sexing people. Just oral sexing all over the place.
Doing sex on people. Let's slowly back away from that. And let's talk about Buffalo Bill and the Indians, or Sitting Bull's history lesson.
Someday my hair is going to be as long as Custer's.
Nate Salisbury doesn't long wind, but he does want to say he's proud, that you're proud.
What do you mean by that?
This is an extremely impressive assemblage.
Uncle Will!
Control yourself.
Chief Sitting Bull has chosen to speak through me. Great Father, Sitting Bull has waited to ask you a very simple thing for his people.
I remind you that in government, nothing is simple.
So I say to the kid, from now on, your name is Buffalo Bill.
The difference between a white man and an Indian in all situations is that an Indian's red.
And fans don't like their heroes too smart.
There ain't no business like the show business.
Ain't all that different from real life.
The wind blows the echoes of lies. The white man has stolen the truth.
The last thing that a man wants to do is the last thing he does.
May the sun never set on this great nation unless it comes up again in the morning.
A cynical Buffalo Bill hires Sitting Bull to exploit him and add his credibility to the distorted view of history presented in his Wild West show. So yeah, another example, right, of Altman skewering American myth-making and history and heroism. And like, I don't think it's an accident, right? And you brought this up, right? That its release coincides with America's bicentennial. I don't think it's an accident that Paul Newman plays Buffalo Bill, right? I mean, I think
or Burt Lancaster plays the basically the myth maker in this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, this comes out about a year after the Vietnam War ends, and this whole film is Paul Newman plays Buffalo Bill during the during the Wild West show days where they would I don't know if did it travel around.
Yes. Oh yes. Yes.
Okay. So that's what I thought too. But
it was like a circus.
Right.
But I mean, it went to Europe. It went to Great Britain. It was like all over the place. But yeah, I mean, I think of it as very much like a circus, right?
And so, the show ran, logistically, like the show ran from like 83 to like 90, I think, 1883 to like 1890. Wild Bill was pretty much Buffalo Bill. Right? They coincide, but Buffalo Bill was this American, myth at that time. And so the show is all about the segment of the and again, timelines are a little bit difficult, but like at a certain point they did actually, Sitting Bull did actually agree to be in the show.
Yep.
And he was in the show for about a year. And so this is about like that period of time. And I mean, that on its surface, that's what it's about.
Yeah,
is that
right.
Sitting Bull is now becoming a part of this show.
That's the kind of structure of the film, right?
But again, this film comes out about a year after Vietnam War ends, and we take the first L, right, that we take in, and it comes out a day before the bicentennial. And it just, what's crazy to me, so the whole film is just basically kind of a behind the curtains Wizard of Oz-esque look at show business.
Yes, yeah.
About Buffalo Bill himself and this myth making, and like Burt Lancaster kind of exists in this realm of like, he's there to be a thorn in the side of Buffalo Bill or Paul Newman's Buffalo Bill, because he knows he's created the myth, and he's really the only one who's willing to acknowledge that the myth is a myth. And that Buffalo Bill is just a guy who's slaughtered fucking buffaloes, and he was no hero, and the things that everything else was just simply made up, but yet we have him, as this great American icon of the Wild West who tamed the Wild West.
The Wild West, yeah.
And
that's what this circus is about, right? That's what this that's what Buffalo Bill's Wild West, that traveling show is all about. How he did that, right? How the American Wild West came to be sort of this wonderful tamed place for all you people now.
So on its surface, it looks to be this, again, skewering of American heroism in the sense of like who we choose to be our heroes, but also like the show business in the sense that there's sycophants around Paul Newman's character who are all trying to keep up the facade of him actually being the person that is being portrayed in the Wild West show when he's clearly not. He wears a wig.
Yeah.
He can't actually shoot. He's a drunk
he can't track anything.
Right. He stopped drinking only one drink a day, but he drinks out of this fucking giant chalice.
It's huge.
And he's a womanizer who sleeps with opera singers whose wife is suing him, who's left him, and he's desperately trying to control the narrative to keep this, to keep the money train rolling, to keep this idea alive, and to me, just trying to read reviews of this. I there were a couple, but not, and I don't know if they came out at the same time, but no one talks about how this film is a skewering of American exceptionalism.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes out and after the war, it just seems ridiculously obvious that this is, yes, it's a take on show business, but more to the point that all of this American, hubbub and hubris is all built on nothing. It's all built on, oppressors and violence and subjugation and
invention and like just complete myth, right? Yeah.
Right. And this idea of like white saviorism and like, no. And like even people, they talk about that, that didn't like the film. I think it's a lot of the same Altman detractors, right?
Mm-hmm.
It because it's a misdirect from the beginning, because when you first open the film, like even Altman says in the beginning, like he puts up his like little title card about how this is his bullshit too.
Yes.
Which I thought was fucking brilliant.
Well, again, like the way he does opening sequences, I just think it tells you exactly what is going to happen the entire time. I mean, we open up on a scene of like, Native American warriors attacking a settlement house, and we pull back and then we realize it's just a scene from the show. I mean,
right.
He's just telling us like right now, like, yeah, that's what this is. This is all a show, right? All of it.
All of the pieces, and so we get to, again, Joel Grey plays his like business manager who's amazing in this. Harvey Keitel plays his like cousin or nephew. Who's like trying to, like, the sequence when they go and look for Buffalo Bill. I don't know, but they go and look for Sitting Bull, and they can't find him, and like like this idea, like Keitel's still belief. I like his whole like, I don't give a shit that they didn't find him. Right. I still believe in Buffalo Bill. Right. Is such a great line. I mean, obviously there's a ton of great dialogue in this. There's a ton of like quotable pieces that you would miss if you, I mean, and this begs to be seen multiple times. But I think he's like this. There's nothing subtle about this.
No,
and it's just like, because again, when Grover Cleveland comes in, he's this buffoon who can't enact anything as president of the United States. I don't know, but my point being about the reviews is that no one brought this up. If you didn't like this film, you didn't like it because of its slow pace or it's too pointed for show business. No one talks about this film being a huge fuck you to this American myth, and I think that is such a fucking shame. Like this film, it's crazy to me that, I mean, like, again, I know we say this every single episode. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I say that all the time. It's fucking crutch. I get it. I know, and I'm sorry, but like, how in the fuck is this a film on IMDb that only has 5,500 fucking reviews? And to be fair, I had not seen this before I watched it. I had not seen this one before. But like,
well, but this goes to your point. Like, why isn't this film talked about more? Why isn't this a film that people go, you have to see this? You have to watch this. Oh, you like Altman? Oh, you love The Player? You have to watch this. Right? I mean,
it's because, again, as we talked about at the beginning, having the biggest movie star in the United States as your ineffectual lead
star,
as this big, huge fucking phony.
Yes.
That's the other thing is, like, I feel like these people that like don't talk about like how good Newman is in this.
Right.
Like how great and how like knowing he had to be.
Yes.
Like I feel like I read a few reviews of like, I think Altman just told him to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, these guys had to have been on the same fucking page. They had to have known what they're making here.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Newman didn't come into this with his eyes closed and just like, oh, I'm going to be HUD and I'm going to do this thing and that's going to be it.
Right.
Fuck you. Like, no, he's smarter than that. He's a better actor than that. Like, he knows at the height of his popularity, he's going to come in and be this, like, who does that? It could be this completely bumbling
charlatan
who is hiding his head under a blanket when someone comes in because his wig isn't on. Like, that's huge. It's a huge, I mean, like, and maybe you think, well, maybe no one's going to see this, and like, the studio will do what they do with all Altman films, but he was coming off of Nashville. There had to have been eyes on this. People were excited about this movie, especially critics. And I think that's part of why this film gets buried, is because this is I mean, and again, this doesn't have this kind of resurrection, but this is Lebowski after Fargo. Like it's a completely, it's not a completely different thing, but it's a completely different thing. And it wasn't the thing that they thought that they were going to get.
Yeah.
It wasn't this overarching grand scape of a bunch of actors and doing all of this. It was a completely different thing, and everyone wanted Altman to go back to the well and do Nashville 2, and he didn't do that. But this is just as good of a film as Nashville.
Which makes you think that people maybe didn't understand Nashville as much as they thought they did either, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just this general idea of like you want that same thing again. You want you want to be able to move around with the characters. Now we're just following one guy, and he's not. He's Lebowski. He's an anti-hero at best, but he's a slacker. He's a loser. And this shit just happens around him. He's not able to affect anything in his realm of existence. And he doesn't really want to. He just wants the money to keep coming in. And that's when someone who has agency comes in and runs roughshod over him, can do what he wants him to do. He can do what he wants him to do. He can ride a horse. He can make
the horse dance. Yeah.
Right. He can go and live in the mountains.
He can wade he can cross the river when no one else could.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he's this like short little whip up. He's not a legend, right? I mean, the legend, he's bigger than it, even though he's not. I mean, like he's, physically not bigger than it. But he holds up to all of his ends where Paul Newman can't.
Yep.
But also there's also so much in regards to like, subtle racism and like the fucking sequence where he's talking to the guy at the end and it's like, my dad fought to keep slavery out of Kansas. He's like, he just fought to keep all black people out of Kansas.
That's how much he hated slavery.
It's like, fuck, that's good. That's so good.
And this is where Altman is so good at playing with actual history too.
Right.
I mean, because this is part of like Buffalo Bill's actual history, right? I mean, Buffalo Bill, by all accounts was a jayhawker, right? And perpetrated some not great things on people. And his father was an abolitionist, right? And was killed after giving an abolitionist speech. But I just love, right? Yeah, that play of like, hated slavery so much, just was like, you know what? Just stay out of here. Like all of you.
I love, again, this is why I think like Newman had, like, this is not a role Newman didn't understand.
No,
like this idea of like, but that just this idea of like, hey, we did you such a good favor of trying to keep you out of Kansas because we just didn't, because we didn't want slavery in Kansas. It's such, again, how is this film buried?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird that like, it's weird the things that we pull back up. And I think maybe because this film, if you want to play devil's advocate, it probably goes on a little too long. Again, it's an Altman thing where, he allows his narrative to drag in places. Probably don't need as much of the Wild West shows that we get. We probably could do, with less, Annie Oakley in a sense of like, I think that's a really funny part of the film. And also Altman's films they're funny, but they're not slapsticky. They're not laugh out loud funny. Right. I did laugh out loud quite a bit of it. In fact, I love Annie Oakley's husband. I thought that part was great where he kept getting, he was always nervous about getting shot.
If it helps, tell her I love her.
Such a good,
but yes, good. Always the like, don't run. I'm going to pass out. Don't run. Yeah. He was great.
But I just don't like, how is there not some sort of like, because again, it's not like Altman is Matsumoto, right?
Right.
It's not like he made 3 films and then he ran away and did something else.
Yeah.
Like he has a storied career, and I get it. Not everything that, and I think maybe this is part of it, but like not everything that Altman did, especially at the end, he had a one for one kind of rate. He had a 500 batting average close to the end, right? I mean, nothing.
But that gets you in the Hall of Fame. In fact, you're the best ball player ever. You can do that.
Right. I mean, like, and even some of the ones like O.C. and Stiggs is kind of a misfire, but I think it's an interesting film. Like, I mean, I get that, maybe his prolific nature hurts him in a sense, but it feels like it feels like in this time there should be some sort of reevaluation of this movie.
This is
because we're in this ridiculous era of Make America Great Again, and this nonsense of that it never was what we said it was, and there needs to be some sort of reconciliation with, like, look, we built this on bloodshed, we built this on exploitation, and like I know that exists, and then there's active people like Elon fucking Musk that are like, why would Germans ever, look back on their history, because they shouldn't be ashamed of anything that's happened. I'm like, yeah. Okay. I mean, he's a piece of shit, right? I mean, but this feels like a perfect way to do this, the perfect way to pull back the veil, a perfect way to look at, like, all right, the wizard has no clothes. That there's nothing going on behind the curtain.
Well, look, Buffalo Bill is Trump. I mean, right? I mean, Trump is Buffalo Bill at this point, right? I mean, this man who has terrible hair, right, has no idea what's really going on, is just trying to keep the grift going, and surrounds himself with people that will tell him how great he is, right? And everything is orchestrated to make him look a certain way, just like Buffalo Bill's kind of, adventures in the circus. Everything is orchestrated to make him look bigger, stronger, tougher, right? Smarter than he really is. But that's exactly what's going on. And this kind of, again, like, reinvention of, like, well, we're going to claim Columbus Day because it's Christopher Columbus and he was a great man. It's like, no, he wasn't, right? Like, this again, right. Like, this is the myth making. This is this kind of, and again, this is what's so brilliant about this film, is that Altman is able to subvert like 12 different things at once, right? White history, American history, the Wild West, Buffalo Bill, right? Hollywood, right? The making of stars. I mean, the making of a star is essentially, like he's just saying, it's invention, right? We invent these people. Right? And again, that's what's so, I think, awesome about Newman playing that part, is him acknowledging that too.
And the lamenting of those who make them, right? I mean, like, if you look at, like,
I mean, I don't think Altman lets himself off the hook here either.
Right. But I mean, like, even if it is like, I mean, and again, I think we can probably paint Trump with a pretty wide brush, but like, it does weirdly tie up with the the false sobriety and the and the hair and like his inexplicable hatred of birds.
Yes.
And like the Keitel of like, well, I hate birds too. Like, this idea of like, you have these people, like, especially family that exists in this realm of like,
sycophancy.
Please still exist, because if you don't exist, if you're not at the top,
I don't exist.
Yeah, I'm nothing. This film is fucking brilliant.
It's so good.
You should watch it. It's available to watch for free somewhere.
Tubi.
Now.
It's on Tubi.
Yeah. I mean, so it's accessible. It's like, why isn't it taught in history classes? I know it's not a direct historical document, but like, why?
But as a conversation piece, I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's so. I mean, look, this idea that we have ever truly evolved especially as an American society, this idea that we're more divided now, it's all bullshit, right? It's all narratives that we tell ourselves because we want to believe that things can get better.
Yeah.
But they've been the fucking same forever, right? I mean, like, when you look at this, when we watch Joe, right?
Yep.
Joe was made in 1970. It's the exact same fucking thing's going on right now.
Yep.
Yeah. We're not more divided. We're as divided. People cheered when Kennedy was shot, right? I mean, like, it's not like we're not more divided. We just we're more online. We have a platform that connects us.
We know more, right? We're more aware of the division.
So when you were in 1970, you had to go to a dive bar and and if you if you killed a hippie, you had to wait for some person that spewed racist tirades
tell them.
to say you did a good job. Now you go to Reddit or 4chan or 8chan or whatever the fuck else, whatever's out there, and like there's 1,000 different people, and there's bots, and it's worse in a sense that our worst tendencies are exacerbated, and it's easier to have them applauded, but we're not more divided than we ever have been. We just have a louder platform. And I think that's what's important about these films. Like, again, reason I wanted to show Joe is that the Make America Great shit existed in 70. It wasn't
just under the banner of Nixon, right?
And right. And the pendulum always swings, right? Joe exists because Easy Rider comes out a year before, right? And so there's a Joe kind of straddles that line because it's the same, but like something like Death Wish or Dirty Harry or all these things as we're getting into like late 70s Nixon era, and then we get into we swing into the 80s jingoistic like nonsense. These films exist because mainstream America felt like this idea of free love, like we got out of this realm of like we went too far, right? Trump exists because Barack Obama was president, right? I mean, that's it. I mean, look, and I don't want to boil it down to just.
And
like
what you mean is that
simplistic.
our society is that racist that we just couldn't.
Right. Absolutely. I don't blame Barack Obama for Trump, but I mean, I blame that this idea of like, oh well, they can't have a movement. We're going to take this back.
Right.
The pendulum swings, right? It's not right. So I think there's a direct line. Do I think that it's a good thing, or do I blame the pendulum swinging in whatever? I'm not going to sit here and argue the point, but like we don't change. We just things slightly vary. And I don't.
But I think, I mean, I think I want to go back to something you said about Joe, because I think it's really interesting that like Joe is a film that comes out in 1970, and again like. The director is not a fan of the character Joe. He's not, Joe is not a mouthpiece for the director, like say Armie Hammer is for Uwe Boll in this other film, right? I mean, the director is saying kind of like, this is what happened. We had this brief moment in the 60s where we thought things were going to be a certain way, and we were pushing for this kind of progression and this kind of like progressive thinking. And then a certain section of society said, right? We're going the other direction. And this guy's kind of saying like, this is what happened, right? This is what can happen, or this is what people sort of like want and think, right? I mean, it's a warning shot, right? I mean, really, right? It's
well, yes, but I think ultimately the problem with something like Joe is that you run the danger of what Citizen Vigilante wants to do, right? Which is to encourage.
It was almost too good of a film. Right. Because then you had Peter Boyle having to come out and say, like, look, wait, no, you're missing the point. Like, I'm not the hero, right? I'm not that Joe. That's not what this was about.
But I think this idea of going back to these films, sorry if I stepped on you, I think this idea of going back to these films, I think I don't like this notion of we're worse now than we ever have been.
Sure.
Right. Because it's not a true narrative, and it also allows you to give up on the time, or allows you to throw up hands and say, fuck it. And people will do that regardless. But I do think like going back to something like Joe, going back to something like Buffalo Bill, you can pull back the curtain and say, look, this has always been going on. This is not an inherently American problem. This is a human problem, as long as we've had the ability to tell ourselves stories. And yes, things evolve in the way that we do them, but the narrative is exactly the fucking same. And it's all based on false pretense. It's all based on what we're being told, what we're being fed,
by a certain sect of people up top, right? It's all kind of coming down.
Yeah. And what we allow ourselves to believe. And if we were able to finally get past that, maybe but again, I'm not going to be that guy, but like, I think it's important to show that like we can move past this, but we have to at some point recognize that we've already had this conversation, and we don't need to have it again.
Well, and that's the thing, like, right? I mean, like, there's always been turbulent times, right? But it's kind of like each turbulent time is its own specific turbulent time, and we have to figure out how to deal with that. And I think that if we can gain anything, right? I think from going back and looking at this stuff, right? It's to figure out how it's different, right?
Right.
Not that it's like worse, but how it's different. And then how do we take those steps to then kind of do whatever we need to do? Because I don't think that we need, we shouldn't resign ourselves, right, to just this kind of same thing happening over and over and over again. I mean, maybe that's what this life is, but it's like.
I mean, I think the great prophet and poet William Joel said it the best when he said, "We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning."
We had a great run, Jason. I think we've done almost 200 episodes. I've really enjoyed this, but I think.
Look, we had to end the podcast somewhere.
I know.
I mean, like this episode,
right,
not the entire.
Yeah. No, I know. I was kidding. We're not done. I think that was a good way to end it. We were.
Go watch Buffalo Bill.
For real.
Check out I Love Boosters. Please stay the fuck away from Citizen Vigilante.
Do not watch Citizen Vigilante.
Or if you have to watch it, fucking pirate the fuck out of it.
We did it so you don't have to.
Yeah, but please don't.
Please don't. It's awful. There's no reason to support either of those guys.
No.
I mean, I took a shower immediately after watching that film.
I was surprised you actually made it through it. And but to be fair, like, yes, it sucks like all the way through, but it like saves its cherry on the top of the racist cake at the very end.
Yeah.
Like it really does like kind of lull you into this like, oh, this movie is just a piece of shit.
Well, that's what I was like.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, how is this going to work? Because I was like, throughout the entire thing, I'm going like, why is this guy doing certain things? Like, what is going on here? And then I'm like, the editing is fucking ridiculous. Like, so like I kind of had to see how it wrapped up. I'm not better for it. What
are we doing next time?
So next time we will continue on with our early alts and talk about A Wedding. With a lot of the same kind of, cast members. I think John Considine is also in A Wedding. I think Geraldine Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter, I think is also in A Wedding. So
who played Annie Oakley in this?
Yep, and who played our reporter in Nashville. So we'll talk about A Wedding. I want to talk about the new Amanda Kramer film, By Design, which is now largely available after being, I think, in theaters for approximately 2 hours.
It's actually a 2 hour, 5 minute movie.
Okay, so 2 hours and 10 minutes.
I'm just saying they cut the movie off. They were like, well, this is it.
That's enough. Yeah. Guess what? It's a chair. And then, I thought we could either take a look at Tuner, which was a film from Diff that we didn't get a chance to go see and talk about, or we could do something else. So
I like Tuner. Let's do Tuner.
So those will be the three things that we'll take a look at next time, which I think will be very enjoyable. I'm not sure that it'll have the same Venn diagram overlap, but
I don't think so either.
One never knows. I think that we are, if nothing else, very skilled in finding ways to make these things connect.
I know we talk about, like I say this all the time, that our episodes are the only time that these films will be brought together. I'm not sure Citizen Vigilante and I Love Boosters will be talked about in the same podcast episode, but
ever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's it for next time. Anything that we need to leave listeners with there, Jason?
I mean, just have a great rest of your whatever.
And with that, thank you all for listening.
And keep screaming. You have been listening to Why Does the Wilhelm Scream with your hosts, Brock and Jason. If you liked today's episode, do us a favor and rate, review, and subscribe in whatever application you use to consume podcasts these days. You can reach us by visiting whydoesthewilhelmscream.com. If you are in the DFW area, we would love to see you at a Fort Worth Film Club event. You can learn more about those and find a full schedule at fortworthfilmclub.com. And you can learn about my foundation and how we are trying to foster the next generation of film lovers at realhousefoundation.org. That's REEL housefoundation.org. Till next time,